Ma'am?
Answer the question.
Costain wrote that fate was somehow related only to religion, whereas Samuels felt that, well, fate was like a natural element, like earth, air, fire, and water.
That's right.
The force of nature behind the mask is a part of Haddonfield, and its oppression looms over the entire town. Its presence is felt in the overcast skies, in the leaves falling from the trees, and in every empty street. The children of Haddonfield tell stories of the boogeyman and dare each other to go into the spook house on Halloween night. And as fate would have it, Laurie would have to come face to face with the boogeyman before the night is through. The force of nature that is Michael Myers. It's hard to overstate just how impactful the original Halloween is. Nearly 50 years later, it's still in the discussion as one of the best and most influential horror films of all time. If you were to describe this movie, it would seem to anyone listening like your generic run-of-the-mill slasher. A guy in a mask stalks some high schoolers. But it's in the execution that Halloween sets itself apart almost instantly. There's an undeniable atmosphere that immediately draws you into that autumnal feeling of Halloween. There's patience in the filmmaking. There's subtlety to the storytelling. There's brilliance in the character building. The most obvious contributor to the atmosphere of Halloween is the music. The oddly timed theme creates a feeling of unease immediately as the credits open, and the low tones that come in underneath usher in the dread that underpins the entire film. Every piece of music throughout the film carries the tone introduced in the opening, making it feel cohesive. From the moment the pumpkin appears on screen until the end credits roll, there's no doubt about what we're supposed to feel. Even Laurie's theme hints at mysterious and wicked things. Given that Laurie is our central protagonist, another filmmaker may have made her theme lighter in tone to contrast with the darkness of the rest of the music. But here, it's as cryptic as everything else. We'll talk more about this later when we talk about Laurie, because I believe this choice is part of her incredible character building. It's the musical themes and minimal sense stings that make Halloween truly feel that evil is crawling out from every shadow in Haddonfield. But there wouldn't be any shadows for evil to lurk in, if not for the cinematography. The camera work and lighting are equally important to the atmosphere of Halloween. There's a heavy use of blue light throughout the film, often simulating the moon or a TV screen. The blue light specifically gives us the feeling of a cold autumn night, and the use of one bright light source allows for objects to cast large, dark shadows, sometimes across lawns, or behind couches,
We finally got one.
or in corners of the room,
It's totally dark.
all places for Michael to be lurking. The use of heavy shadows and simple in-camera tricks allow for the most effective storytelling and unsettling atmosphere. Combine that with the iconic music, and you get one of the most haunting atmospheres in horror history. Since movies are a visual medium, there's a philosophy in filmmaking that if it can be said through visuals, it should be. Whether that's to move the story forward, or to show what a character is feeling, or any other number of reasons, the visual language a film uses to tell its story is important. One of the things Halloween excels at is the patience in which it uses this show, don't tell philosophy. The shots throughout the film linger. Rather than fast cuts to keep the pace quick, we get time to take in all the information the frame is giving us. For instance, during Dr. Loomis's monologue, we see his face the entire time. We see his eyes shifting as he fearfully speaks about the boy he met 15 years ago.
I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face, and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then another 7.
We see his resolute belief in Michael's evil as he clenches his jaw and stares into Sheriff Brackett's eyes.
Evil.
We're not just given the chance to hear Loomis talk. We're given the chance to see and understand him. All things we would miss if we were cutting continuously between different shots. But there's another sequence in Halloween that embodies this philosophy perfectly. It pushes the story forward and reveals not feelings, but hard facts. It deals with the Rabbit in Red Lounge, a crucial part of the story, but never spoken about by anyone. As Marion and Dr. Loomis are driving back to Smith's Grove, Marion lights a cigarette and throws her matchbook on the dash. A matchbook from the Rabbit in Red Lounge. Dr. Loomis notices, but nothing else is said about it. After Michael steals their car and escapes, Dr. Loomis has a hunch Michael is going back to Haddonfield.
You can get back in there and get back on that telephone, tell him exactly who walked out of here last night, and tell him exactly where he's going.
The next day, on his way there, Dr. Loomis stops at a payphone. We see that Haddonfield is 73 miles away.
He's on his way.
And there on the side of the road is the matchbook from the Rabbit in Red Lounge. And without a word being spoken, Dr. Loomis knows exactly where Michael is going. All from a few shots of a matchbook.
Hey, Linda, Laurie.
The cast of Halloween all have their memorable moments. And while Linda, Annie, and Bob are the building blocks for the archetypes of countless future slashers, I'm only going to be focusing on the 3 main characters: Dr. Loomis, Michael, and Laurie. The classic story of good versus evil, but with the small town girl stuck in the middle. Laurie is a complicated character. She wants to be more like Annie and Linda. She wants the high school experience with drugs and boys and parties.
What are you gonna wear to the dance tomorrow night?
I didn't know you thought about things like that, Laurie.
But there's something inside her that holds her back.
You know, you could ask somebody, Monica. Sure you could. All you have to do is...
Self-consciousness?
You want to go to the dance?
You could do that, I couldn't.
Perhaps. But I think it's more of an awareness. A perception of more going on around her than just high school normalities.
Calm down.
She's aware there's life after high school and wants to be prepared for it.
I forgot my chemistry book.
She's aware of her surrounding and she trusts her instincts. She's aware of the importance of being kind and keeping her promises. It's this constant state of vigilance that keeps her alive. And this awareness is the reason I believe Laurie's theme is so haunting. It's an indication that Laurie senses the evil lurking around her. It's an audible cue to the audience that she knows something isn't right. For instance, while Annie is buried in her own thoughts about Paul, Laurie is looking at what's going on around her. When Annie finally does realize something is off, it's too late. But Laurie sees Michael multiple times throughout the day. On the other hand, Linda's suspicions are raised pretty quickly when confronted with Michael the first time. However, rather than listening to her instincts, she chooses to ignore them with dire consequences. Laurie approaches her suspicions with caution. She chooses to listen to and trust her instincts. And when finally confronted by Michael, she thinks quickly because she's ready. Laurie also understands the importance of making and keeping her promises. She makes several promises throughout the movie and keeps all of them. She's always thinking about how she can help other people. She promises Tommy she won't let anything happen to him.
Well, I'm here tonight. I'm not about to let anything happen to you.
Promise?
Promise.
Which gives her an urgency and a drive to fight back, not just for herself, but for Tommy and Lindsay. It's her heightened state of awareness, her ability to trust her instincts, and her dedication to others that truly make her the first and ultimate final girl. There's been a lot of debate over the years about whether Michael is supernatural or just a man. For me, it's easy to point to the first Halloween and say he's more than a man.
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was.
What that is isn't important, and it's part of what makes Michael scary.
Don't underestimate it,
Don't you think we could refer to it as him?
if you say so.
The classroom scene is a clear indicator that Michael is a force of nature, and he's unstoppable.
That's right. Samuel's definitely personified fate. In Samuel's writing, fate is immovable, like a mountain. It stands where man passes away. Fate never changes.
It's Michael's obsession that makes him unstoppable.
19.
He has a mind for one thing and one thing only.
Judith Myers.
But it's not just the final act he obsesses over. It's the build-up. It's the presentation. Michael is playfully twisted and theatrical in his endeavors. He watches Annie for a long time. While he has plenty of chances throughout the night, he waits until she finally notices he's there. He takes time to savor what he's waited so long to do, and that's plainly visible after his run-in with Bob. And he even ramps up the playfulness with Linda. He doesn't just want to scare her. He wants to feel her discomfort, and so he toys with her. And of course, his final presentation with Laurie is highly thought out and premeditated, going so far as to steal his sister's gravestone and pose Annie's body while setting up the rest of Laurie's friends for her to find. He's allowed Laurie to see him all day, building tension. And all for this final release of fear. It's only when her fear is at its peak does he allow himself to chase her. It's easy to think of Michael as a killing machine, as a brute. But that's not what he is. That's not what he ever was. He's an obsessed mind. He's thoughtful and strategic in an evil way as he revels in what he does. He uses shadows and surprise to his advantage. He's inhumanly patient while he waits for the right moment. I've saved Dr. Loomis for last because I love him as a character, and he's the most interesting. While Loomis acts as the good to Michael's evil, the two are also eerily similar. Loomis is also theatrical in his own way. He has no issue leaning into the supernatural idea that Michael is more than a man.
Every kid in Haddonfield thinks this place is haunted.
They may be right.
And his way of thinking comes out in his speech.
So I was told there was nothing left. No reason, no conscience, no understanding, and even the most rudimentary sense of life or death, of good or evil, right or wrong.
He speaks like no other character in the film, often evoking dramatic imagery during monologues to get his point across, conjuring up images of death and evil and the devil.
Death has come to your little town, Sheriff.
He's even called out for it by Brackett.
More fancy talk.
Whether Michael got his own flair for theatrics from Loomis, or vice versa, the two of them live in places just outside of reality in their minds. Like Michael, Loomis is also an obsessive man. His entire identity is built around their relationship.
Because I know him.
Loomis has no family to speak of, and the only thing we know of his past revolves around meeting the boy 15 years ago. His ability to stalk Michael to Haddonfield shows that he knows exactly what goes on in the mind of a killer. So much so that he knows to visit Judith's grave because he knows Michael would go there. And at times he seems drawn to the shape's actions with a macabre fascination.
It happened in here. She was sitting right here.
Almost as if he's curious himself.
He could have seen her through this window.
In fact, the only slight sense of satisfaction we see from Loomis in the entire film
Hey, Lonnie. Get your ass away from there.
is when he scares Lonnie, perhaps hinting at the idea that he also enjoys instilling fear in others. But it's Dr. Loomis's sense of right and wrong that separates his madness from Michael's madness. Loomis believes in evil, and therefore he leans on the power of the law as his compass for good. Loomis wants nothing more than to lock Michael up forever, but he understands he can't do that without due process of law.
Then why are we taking him up to Hardin County if you're just gonna lock him?
Because that is the law.
His first call before he gets to Haddonfield is to the sheriff's office.
Pardon me, I'm Loomis, Dr. Sam Loomis.
And he consistently consults with Sheriff Brackett throughout the film. And when he pulls his pistol in front of Brackett, his first reaction is to show that he has a permit for it.
I do have a permit.
This mind for law and order is the key difference between Michael and Loomis, the one thing that truly separates them. And while their relationship is the classic good versus evil, they are ultimately two sides of the same coin. Often replicated but never duplicated, Halloween is a standout, not just in the slasher genre, but in the horror genre as a whole. It's a prime example of simplicity executed perfectly. While on the surface it's easily digestible, the underlying thought and care put into every aspect of the film makes it something special. It makes it powerful and enduring. It makes it haunting. It makes it feel as though at any moment, evil could be lurking around every corner. Thank you for watching, and if you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing for more.